question for entire panel. India's infrastructure growth demands speed, compliance, and sustainability. How can procurement leaders shift from lowest cost sourcing to life cycle value based sourcing in welding system? Let's start with Mr. Muralidharan.
Because unless, as Mr. Shaju said, that we have to, Dr. Shaju said that we have to necessarily do the what you call need of the verb requirement of making people to understand what is the requirement, how to they qualify themselves, make themselves ready for the future requirements. That's the way we look into that. We have to see that way.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Shall
Yeah.
I continue?
Sure, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes.
So, I think there was a specific reference in India. What we happen is L1 from L1 purchase, and how to make sure that you get into quality products during the procurement. I think that is one of your concern, isn't it? Yes. Yes. See, it is. I agree that in an Indian system, not only with respect to government system, even with the many private players, this issue of L1 purchase, lowest quotation being considered for application comes. But this actually can be overcome by proper specification and the management. See, for this purpose, as a person, with working in R&D organization, where we need to struggle with this, because in government organization, our L1 only will be considered first, and we need to have a big justification to if you don't want to accept L1, why we don't want to accept L1. So, and I think it is true with the public sector, and it is true with even with the many private players. See, this is where I told you this importance of a welding coordinator, separate with respect to our thing. See, what is required for the final product, we should be clear. See, when you make a specification, you have freedom to specify what you need. If you say that you provide a consumable as per AWS that or ISO standard something and just leave at it, everybody will say that their product is as per that, and we offer you, and our cost is this cost is this. So, but the purchaser has a freedom to insist on additional requirement if he feels that his product should be better than the others, or your quality of the product should be better. So but if he wants to do this additional requirement, it should not be with the intent of it should not lead to a because products with additional requirement may not be commercially available in the market. So this requirement you should be clear. So without causing, so for this you should be technically competent, technically aware, not only about your specification, but also with respect to our requirement, and also the cost of additional specification which you want to ensure for your product. So once you are aware of this, you will be, and you will be, and there another important thing is not only you aware, you may have to work with manufacturers also, the suppliers of your raw material product. So you cannot tell them so that how it is, why this is important to us, how it is important to them, so that they also participate in maybe doing the additional steps which is required for the ensuring the quality. So with this way only, this is where we told about the coordinator or the welding. This coordinator is he should be aware of these things. So and so that means Because at present, the routine products are produced routinely, and it is supplied, delivered routinely, and it is available everywhere. But if you want to have a product which is better than the what is routinely available, first of all, you should be knowledgeable about that product, and you should be able to convince the potential suppliers of what you require and about the project, and if necessary, how to get it. That knowledge level you should have. This is very, and of course, you have to convince your management. See, it will not be same as what you are looking for it, and maybe but you should tell them what is the benefit that such a product will offer to you.
In
So,
fact, Magesh, I would like to add one more thing,
So,
okay, with due respect, because you know that railways, they have come up with a different format. You know that they have that all these latest train traveling and all. Earlier, they were using a carbon steel material. As a buyer to purchaser, I am telling about. Nowadays, they started using a material which is made of stainless steel for the complete bogies, shells, body, everything. Okay, and it has been developed to the requirement to suit to the requirements, and it has been made to the requirements of their company, the what you call standard called ISO 15085, that is railway wagons, because of this maintenance cost, because of this what you call rusting formation, all the thing that they have now started going for stainless steel material. You understand? So that is that the cost of the projects is going up, but still the in the long run they are able to reduce that. But they have specified the requirement of what they want. Based on that, government of India steel plant made it, and they are supplying to the railways now. Number one. Number two, nowadays, we try to be in the platform. You have the overbridge and all, which we try to passenger go up, come down, and all the things. All the things earlier they were using it with carbon steel material. Now they are trying to, even though it is little costly, this is called bridge over. Okay, bridge over the bridge, we come across to the platform and other things. Now they started going for stainless steel. You understand? Because even though the cost of carbon steel material to stainless steel material may be 4 times, 5 times, but in the long run, they looked at what is the best. What is the best? And then that is the way they decided to go this rail over bridge, ROB, they call it ROB, rail over bridge. They are trying to do that, and they are implementing there now slowly. There are a lot of projects in Kerala over the river. These bridges are being manufactured and done with stainless steel material. The minimum requirement so that the corrosion resistance, everything is there. Again, they specified the required, what is the requirement, the manufacturer, and the manufacturer was able to, the buyer and manufacturer, they are able to specify and give. So that is everything. Recently, I have come across with one of my clients who was looking for a double wall tank. Double wall tank is something which is being buried under the ground, but they want that the manufacturer doesn't know what is WPS, what is PQR, but he wants to do that. You see that he is not he is doing, but he doesn't know what that they are not following it up. How do you expect the quality? Even though the materials, whatever you give and all, there may be failures happen. So we have to create that awareness to all the people so that what is need of the customer to be made by the purchaser from the manufacturer. We have to do that. That's the way we have to take it to slightly bring into that. As Mr. Dr. Shaju said, coordination is very important in all aspects, before, during, after welding, and we qualify them to do that, all those things. That is what we are doing here now.
sir, for sharing that information. Mr. Adarsh, you want to add something to this? Adarsh, sir.
By focusing on total cost of ownership, digital adaptation, and also sustainability, that is total cost of ownership to reduce energy efficiency as a key sustain. We use we use to inverter type of welding machine that also reduce the cost of optimization. it saves up to approx 30% of energy. Also reduced the rework and welding consumable. As we prefer a high quality welding operator, which as we qualified a high quality welding operator, he produce a sound weld, which also reduce the optimization cost. That is the point I add.
Thank you, sir. Thank you all for your comprehensive perspective. Now, my next question is for Mr. Muralidharan. How can ISO 3834 and related welding quality framework practically reduce rework rates in infrastructure fabrication projects?
Very good. Thank you. Thank you. I want to explain. You have come of course that. You all aware of that ISO 9001 is a quality management system which can be adopted by anybody. Okay. And then it was being taken care. In fact, for a company where I was working, it took 4 years for me to get that ISO 9001 during 80s. You understand? And later, because of this, so many people came in and on to that. And then welding has been made as a special process, and then because of the failures happened during service conditions, and they said that we have to do something, and then with ISO, that is International Organization for Standardization, with IIW, that is International Institute of Welding, they prepared this ISO 3834. Okay, ISO 3834 is the quality requirements of fusion welding of metallic materials of welded product. This is a nomenclature that has been given for ISO 3834. In that ISO 3834, any company, that is, as a consultant, I can go for ISO 3834. As a manufacturer, they can go for ISO 3834. As a production company, they can go for ISO. And coming years, whoever is doing welding, they necessarily need to go for ISO 3834 requirements. To get that certificate qualified like ISO 9001, then we have there ISO 3834. There is a subclass called ISO 14731. As that Dr. Shaju Arbert was telling, it is called welding coordinating personnel. These welding coordinating personnel are there who will be taking care in the shop floor to see that no defects, nothing happened. In case of any problem, they are in the floor to see that. ISO 9001, you used to have a management representative, and these coordinating personnel are the management representative in the shop floor to see that things are put. And also, there are systems and procedures made in such a way that before welding, during welding, after welding, what are all to be checked, so that we try to bring is the scrap or zero defect or minimize to, so that no schedule, reschedule, nothing, no rework, nothing is done. So everything is put on into the papers, including the WPS, PQR, welder qualification, that, this, everything. We call it as a quality system in which we put everything onto that, so that everything is monitored, everything is checked, so that that is, in that process nothing will move out. In case of any problem on the shop floor while doing welding, they will be able to look into that and see that, because we from Indian Institute of Welding, where I myself, Dr. Shaju Albert, we are Indian Institute of Welding, we are conducting this welding coordinating personnel program. We are authorized national body in India of the International Institute of Welding. There are 59 countries members of this International Institute of Welding. In India, Indian Institute of Welding, we are the only person who can do this coordination welding. It is not like, something like a what you call cash and carry or something. It is something like a MTech welding technology syllabus. We talk about all welding related things, defects, metallurgy, design, quality, everything. So the welding coordinating personnel in the shop floor, he will be able to monitor and see that things are in order, so that there is no deviation. There is the customer requirements, whatever they are looking into that, everything is put onto that. So we try to minimize zero, 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 and see that, because we do inspection before welding, during welding, after welding, which are all put in parameters, which are all put in their quality system arrangements, and it is an auditable document. I am auditor, I do the auditing of the documents. You understand? So the companies looking for that naturally will have the high efficiency, zero value, that is the scrap value will come down, and they are able to make a good profit, and it will go in their long run, they will go in the global market. But the requirements of their ISO 3834, EN 1090, so many things are there. So 150, like that, it is there. So they are able to make it with without any, what you call, without any negligence in the product, and they will see that it is done properly. So you will get a 100% quality product, I assure you that.
Okay. Thank you, sir, for explaining the operational linkage between standards and cost reduction. So my next question is for Mr. Shaju Albert. What are the most critical gaps you observe in standard adoption across Indian fabrication industries today?
Okay. See, as I told you, we have not come to a stage where a compulsory adoption, especially in the case of welding industry. Well, I tell you, we have a welding entity inspectors is mandatory. See, if you want to do an inspection, qualified welding entity inspection is required. But in the area of welding, we do not have a mandatory welding inspector or a mandatory welding coordinator to be there. So we do not have. In fact, as a BIS chairman, I can tell you of the welding. I can tell you, Bureau of Indian Standards has adopted ISO 3834 as highest standard. It is already there.
Yes,
Bureau of Indian Standards adopted a 14731 ISO 14731 as an Indian standard. It is there. So and now they are adopting all this, especially quality control and quality standards directly from ISO standards, so that harmonization of the standards across the globe. We are doing it, but but in Indian industry, these things are not mandatory. You even go to the best fabricator in the country, they will tell that no, this is not mandatory. Welding inspector is not mandatory. Why we should have a welding inspector in our company, or why our welding inspector should be certified as per. See, recently I introduced as a IS BIS chairman, I introduced a standard IS 18224 IS standard for welding inspectors. It is adopting, it is considering all the standards, that is AWS, TWA standards, considering that we have put it is, and I argued with the Indian Bureau of Indian Standard to have these things referred in the Indian standard also. They said no, Indian standard will not refer to AWS standard. I told, see, people know only about AWS standard. If you say that if the welder is not company is not aware of other national international standards, they will tell that we don't they will not recognize this. So like that we introduce, but companies are telling why I should certify my welding
correct.
inspectors as per IS 18224, because
Yes,
there is no mandatory requirement. So but they will this is the gap which we are having adaptation, because we as an industry or as an organization or as a national policy, we should make this adoption of especially standards related to welding fabrication as a mandatory, and we should have our own standards. See, the problem is, see, now at present, till recently the situation was there. He says I want a welding inspector should be certified. I mean, the government or the Bureau of Indian Standards say where is a standard to offer Indian. They know there are AWS standard. They know AWS standard I will not take. That is that country's standard. Our country, where is the standard? So now we have a standard, but still when we approach Indian companies, they are saying, no, no, there is no mandatory requirement. There is a mandatory requirement of welding NDT person. So we will take NDT, that fellow will do NDT welding inspection also. But NGT person will do only the inspection, and he will be forced to learn about welding, which he does not know. And so this is where the problem comes. And they think that they will tell that no, when I make somebody welding inspector qualified, that fellow will go to Gulf, or they'll go to other countries, because if you make him AWS welding inspector, that fellow will get a better job opportunities in Gulf, so he'll go there. So now, but today we have our own Indian standard, but people are not ready to take up this welding standard. They
Agree.
first say that is it as good as AWS? It hurts me, because it is so much effort we have put in putting the standard.
Correct.
So this is the situation.
True.
So it is not that we don't have standard, but unfortunately, our system of Bureau of Indian Standard is such that they cannot make a mandatory. See that the organization is such that if they say that I can only produce a standard and offer to the industry. It is for the industry to make it, or the concerned ministries to make it mandatory or compulsory for whatever reason it is there. So what happened? This Bureau of Indian Standard people, or Ministry of Commerce, which come under the Bureau of Indian Standard, they are not able to push
Push.
it for mandate. But now government is changing in the product standard because of the commercial interest. Government is putting quality control order, QC order. That is your product. See, today you cannot sell an electrode as AWS welding electrode in the country. You can do certain carbon steel electrode. You can sell only IS 8114 electrode in the country. If the manufacturer is not making an
In India.
electrode as per IS 814, he cannot sell it in the country. So even the best company in the world, he has to produce his electrode as per IS 814. Then only he can import it into the country. So government is making it mandatory, but that is government is making it for the commercial business, because the import export of the item. But similarly, if the government make it the quality of standards, like welder qualification, welding inspector qualification, welding coordinating personnel, and welding this one, then the situation, or our welding operator, IS 14732 is for welding operators. And if you make these standards mandatory in the country, then this situation will
Things will move.
drastically change.
In fact, Dr. Shaju always said, 20 years back, this ISO 3834, 14731, everything was put by in Bureau of Indian Standards. Unfortunately, nobody has seen that. And then if we started doing from that time onwards, 20 years back, we would have been made quality and then very high standards, we would have gone into that. It's a fact.
Thank you, sir, for highlighting those compliance realities. My next question is for Mr. Adarsh Kumar. In high thickness pipe welding up to 70 mm, what are the most common weldability challenges and how can they be mitigated?
In high thickness welding, what is weldability? Are you said about weldability?
Yes, yes. What are the most
Okay.
common weldability challenges?
First challenge while welding of high thickness during a weldability is to fit up a proper joint. That is, joint fit up is basically a most common. Then after we maintain a minimum gap between the two joints.
Mhm.
When we maintain all of these, then we have to do a proper multi-pass welding. That is welding of a 70 mm thickness. That is a very large thickness, and
Okay.
we have to do a multi-run. That is not covered in a single pass or single run. We have to do a multi-run. While we doing multi-run, we have to take care about preheating, also preheating temperature, also inter-pass temperature, also proper cleaning during a successive weld.
Mhm.
And we have also take care about this, that the weld is not too much heated. And also proper cleaning of the weld while doing a next weld. That is the basic things that is we have to take care during the weldability of a high thickness.
Okay. Okay.
uh,
Thank you, sir.
Added to that,
Sure, sure.
it's all based on what is the product they are going to manufacture. Okay, it can be a non-pressure part, it may be a pressure part, it may be a pressure vessel, higher thickness 70 millimeter, or maybe a pipe which will be for taking a fluid or something like that. So it's all based on that how they are making it up, and then we have process procedures available so that faster productivity can be done with a submerged arc welding, shield CAW process, and then we have equipments available. We have fluxes, and then filler wires are available to suit the requirement based on the material. It is the carbon steel or a stainless steel. What material they are going to make use of it, and the design aspect. What is the pressure onto that? It is going to be there. So it is possible when we have welded up to 300 millimeter thickness plate. 300, not one or two, 300 millimeter thickness plates also we have welded with all the welding process. There, as you know that there are 84 welding processes as per AWS, American Welding Society, which is prevailing. And then the latest is the friction stir welding, where we are trying to adapt in India also for so many defense projects works on aluminum and steel materials also. Recently, we started doing it here in India also.
Thank you, sir, for that practical explanation. So, as we conclude, if anyone from the panelists can identify one transformative shift that the welding industry must embrace over the next 5 years to remain globally competitive, the
Okay.
one transformative shift, what would be it? I hope the question is clear. Should I repeat?
Okay, I will. I think
Yes,
I
please.
will answer it. Uh, see, see. One, as we told, is the one is automation. Okay.
Okay.
Hmm. And with respect to and digital era has come. See, you can have a better recording of all data system and automation. Once you have it, but once you said automation, it is not confined. Our colleague, Mr. Mahesh, no, sorry, Adarsh Kumar, he mentioned about regarding inverter power source. So it is not automation. Not that you introduce robot. See what if when you introduce robotic automation, see we should do continue welding continuously for hours together. So you should have an appropriate welding power sources. You should have appropriate welding consumable, which will not king or stop or in between. And you should have proper packaging of this material so that it will be feed properly. So these things are also required. It is and then another so this automation will require this challenge. Now regarding the processes, the one important change which we are going to change in the happen in this application of laser technology in welding. The our Muralidharan already mentioned about friction stir welding, but it has a limitation because it can be adopted economically only for aluminum and its alloys, because when it comes to steel and all there is a limitation. But laser is becoming cheaper and is much faster, and laser hybrid, that combining with laser hybrid, that is becoming much more adaptive. And this system, because this will be meant for big manufacturers, but that will change. It will produce a significant change in that in that direction, in the recent thing, in the future direction, because that is because the laser technology is growing very fast, and its flexibility is increasing day by day. So these two aspects will be the
Okay.
changing: automation and laser welding. Even resistance welding is giving way to laser welding in the automobile industry. So
Okay.
that will be the thing.
Okay. Thank you, sir, for those powerful concluding insights.